Hi, my name is Thomas Mattsson and I'm going to show you the new Viewpoints feature in Design Management 3.5 M3. So the viewpoints are a way to map between a domain and an Explorer tree. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. In this demo we will be using two different project areas. One is the domain specification project and one is an instance project. So in the domain specification project, here called domains, we have a set of different domains. And the one we're going to use today is the library domain model. Within that we have four different classes: address, author, book, library, and a set of properties. And if we take a look at the instance project called demo, we'll see that we have 7 documents created. We have a couple of authors, we have a library, and we have 4 different books. As you can see here, these are all at the top level of the Explorer right now, and we want to change that. The way to change that is to create a viewpoint, and viewpoints are created in the domain specification project. So let's get back there. And the viewpoints can be found in the design menu. There's a viewpoints menu item where you can see all the created viewpoints. And there's a create viewpoint menu item that we are going to select now, which shows you this page. Let's take a look at the different parts of the viewpoints page. We have the viewpoint title, we have a root query tab, a child queries tab, and in the root query tab we have the possibility to add a query and the possibility to add a group. In the root query tab you define what is going to be the root in the Explorer tree, and in the child queries tab you define what is going to be children of a particular node in the Explorer tree. Let's say that we want to create root nodes that are the authors, and as children to those authors we want to display their books. So let's start out with giving this viewpoint a title. Call it authors and their books. The next thing we want to do is to create a query. And let's click the query button, and from here you can see that we get a small query editor where we can add conditions. In this case we want to add a type condition since we want to choose the author type as a root. And as you can see here we have the author right here, and it's in the library domain model. The list here is all the types that are in the domains in the domain specification project at the moment. Besides from the root query, we also wanted to add the books of that author as children. So we get into the child queries tab, where you have a button to add child query, which we will click on. And from here you get the list of all the types again. In this case we want to select what we want as children to the authors. So we click on authors and we get a similar view to what we have in the root query tab. And here we can also create queries of roots, and we want to create a group in this case. So we create a new condition, and this time we choose the property condition. And here you can see all of the properties that are valid for that particular type. And author's book seems like the best choice here. So that's all we need to see the authors as root nodes and the books as children to those authors. So we save this viewpoint. So let's get back to the instance project and see what we got. So we go there and we select the Explorer, and we can now see that we have the viewpoint name displayed next to the Explorer text, and we see that we have the 2 authors as root nodes, and if we expand one of those we'll see the books written by that author. So let's see if we can add some more information to this viewpoint. Let's say that we want to add a group below the books. that show all the libraries that you can find this book within. So to do that, we get back to the viewpoint, and since we want to create these children below the book node in this case, we want to create a new child query for a book. And in this case, we wanted to create a group. So we click Add Group and give the group a name. And we call this Libraries. And we also want to use the property condition here. But in this case, we don't have any relationship between the book and the library. But on the other hand, there's a relationship from the library to the book. So we can change the type of the property condition to an incoming one. And then you will see that the list is updated to properties that have the book type as target. And in this case, we want to select the books and library property. So let's just save the viewpoint, and we'll take a new look at the result. Do a refresh here, and we expand that node again. You can now see that we have a group below the book, and within that we have a library. A viewpoint can also consist of queries that check on certain values. So let's say, for example, that we would like to have a root group that will show all the books that have a certain amount of pages in them. So to do that, let's go back to the viewpoint, and we go to the root query tab, where we want to add a group. And let's name that one books with more than 500 pages. And to do that, we use the property value condition. And here we can see there's a pages property. So let's use that one. And we want to have more than 500. Saved. Let's take a look at the end result. Still refresh. And we can now see that we have a group at the top level. If we expand that one, we'll see that we have two different books there. And those have more than 500 pages. And that concludes what I had to show about viewpoints. Thanks for listening.